Of the Sun Devils is ranked number 2 in the nation, and they're closing in on their first Pac-10 Southern Division title since 1988. Hard-hitting Paul LaDuca leads Arizona State. Stanford's baseball tradition is anchored with 2 national titles the past 4 years. Now, however, the Cardinal is struggling. Welcome to the college home of Reggie and Barry. It's Pac-10 baseball next on ESPN. From Packard Stadium on the campus of Arizona State University, ESPN presents Pac-10 Baseball. Today, a battle in the Southern Division as the Sun Devils of Arizona State play host to the Stanford Cardinal. Beautiful Packard Stadium, one of the finest in all of college baseball. Major League stars, both past and present. Many passed right through this tremendous facility. Hi, everybody. I'm Phil Stone. Welcome to Baseball Under the Sun. Temperature today in Tempe, Arizona, hovering right around 90 degrees, and it is expected to get much warmer. Today, we're going to be seeing a team in Arizona State that just a couple of short months ago was picked no better than 5th in the Pac-10's 6-team Southern Division. But just take a look. With just a week to go, the Sun Devils are ranked number 1 in the Southern Division, 2 games up on the Wildcats of Arizona. Working with me on the telecast today, the National League MVP, doesn't seem all that long ago, way back in 1974, Steve Garvey. And today, Steve, we're going to be seeing a classic case of a big, overpowering offense versus a Stanford team that is freshman-oriented.
Well, history tells us these 2 teams have won national championships, but they're going in different directions. Arizona State now surging to the lead in the Pac-6, where Stanford, a very young team, freshman-laden team that Mark Marquis is really molding in shape for the future.
Talk about Arizona State from top to bottom. They are dominating offensively. But how about that number 3-4 hole? Is there a more powerful one in all of college baseball?
I don't think so. Antone Williamson and Paul LaDuca, 2 guys that are hitting for high averages and high run production, but more importantly, power. And that's what wins in college baseball.
When you talk Stanford baseball, Mark Marquis is now in his 17th season as head coach. He's never had a losing season on the farm. That's hard for me to believe. This team is 21-20 this year, on the verge, and he's pinning his hopes on a freshman catcher by the name of A.J.
The scouts like 2 things, hard-throwing pitchers and good-hitting catchers. A.J. Hinch, as you can see, .331 batting average, one of the top hitting catchers in the country. But more importantly, against ASU, 4 for 12. Leading the Stanford Cardinal attack is A.J. Hinch.
Today, the Stanford Cardinal is going to try and slow down this Sun Devil juggernaut, and what they're going to try and do it with is a left-hander by the name of Andrew Lorraine. He's going to be going up against Dax Winslett, 2 fellas, Steve, that know a little bit about one another.
They're 2 number 2 pitchers. The number 1 guy is going Friday night, but on Saturday, the number 2 guys hook up. And the last time these 2 guys hooked up, it was a tremendous game. Lorraine with 6 wins, a little higher in run average, but Winslett with 8 wins and a 4.81. Now, that means that he lets in some runs, but this Arizona State offensive juggernaut makes up for it.
Well, the Stanford Cardinals going to try and stay out of that 500 area, 21-21 today, while the Sun Devils of Arizona State will try and notch their 40th victory of this 93 season. Today's game is brought to you by the Colorado Tourism Board. For baseball here in the Southwest. Today, it's the 2nd-ranked Sun Devils of Arizona State and the Cardinal of Stanford. And today, they're going to lock horns under sunny skies. The temperature 92 degrees, and on the way up, the wind will not be a factor. And there isn't any rain within hundreds of miles of Tempe, Arizona. This is Game 2 of this 3-game series. Arizona State won yesterday's game 7-1, and they're looking to make it 2 in a row over the Cardinal today. The lineup first for the Stanford Cardinal, leading off and playing third base, is Brian Dallimore. He's followed by hard-hitting A.J. Hinch. At shortstop is Jed Hansen. He'll bat third, followed by Dusty Allen in the number 4 spot. The left fielder is Todd LaRocca. He'll bat 5th. Rod Meyer, Brody Van Wagenen will play right field and bat 7th, followed by Steve Carver, the designated hitter, and the second baseman, Jeff Desjardins.
And defensively, catching Katie Newstrom at first, Cardinal at second, Rivera at short, Williamson at third, Delnos, Cruz, and Shores in the outfield.
And on the mound, it is Dax Winslett. 8-3 on the year, an ERA 4.81. He's pitched 88 innings, has given up 91 hits in those 88 innings. Of the 55 runs he's allowed, 47 have been earned. His last couple of outings, he has been overwhelming, striking out 21 batters in 18 innings. The umpires today behind the plate, it's Marty Camacho. At first base, Jeff Jenkins, and the third base umpire is Kevin Doherty. So we are just about set to go for Game 2 of this 3-game set. I mentioned at the outset that the Pac-10 Conference, particularly the teams in the Southern Division, Steve Garvey, you can just throw these teams in a jar, mix them up, and draw any of them out, and any of them can beat you on a given day.
When you look at the beginning of the season, you look at probably 5 teams that have a legitimate choice, and then as the season goes along, maturity and, of course, performance have their way, so to speak.
Now here is Brian Dallimore to lead things off for Stanford. Now this is a Stanford Cardinal team that is certainly not representative of the type of clubs that Mark Marquess has had over the years. Team that is, when I say freshman oriented, I mean freshman oriented. There is one senior on this team. Stanford lost 7 juniors, and I believe it was 4 seniors for the Major League Draft a year ago. So there's 10 players that Mark thought he might have back that flew the coop.
And that says a lot about the quality of the player that goes to Stanford, only rivaled by Pepperdine's loss of about 12 players last year.
Right field line. Scott Shores angling towards the line. Can't get to it. It's going to drop in. Dallimore is rounding first. He charges to second as Shores made a nice recovery, bouncing to his feet and getting the ball back in.
This play had slice written over the ball, hit down the right field line, and it just tails away, and he does a good job of knocking the ball down and not letting it get by him. If he gets by him, it's at least a triple and possibly an inside-the-park home run.
I'll tell you, shots down the lines here at Packard Stadium are not cheap ones. 340 down the lines, 370 to the power alley, and to straightaway, 394. And here is A.J. Hinch. Steve, you talked about him at the outset of our telecast. Big numbers, 331. Got good power.
Took a little time to watch him in the batting cage, Phil, and he just has good, solid mechanics. He's a little bit of a squat hitter. In other words, he bends his knees, but what he does is he keeps his hands up high in a good hitting position so that he has a good slow stride, not a long stride, and just uses his hands.
Stevens counted 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, there is Mark Marquess. I'll tell you, he is a busy head coach. Flashing the signs, but yet he is not in either the first or third base coach's box.
He's active. He's always moving around. He's analyzing the game. That's why he's as good as they come in college baseball.
Checks the runner. Here's the pitch to Hinch. Check swing. 2 balls and 1 strike now to A.J. Hinch.
Good example of a young hitter who has bat control, his ability to hold up on that pitch. A lot of young hitters, once they're committed, will always break the wrist or take a swing at a bad pitch, but good composure at the plate.
Winslett checks Dallimore. Now deals to the plate. There's the change, and it comes in high. Now they changed the count a moment ago. It was 2 balls and a strike. Then the scoreboard changed it to 1 and 2. Now it is 2 and 2. Al Hinch a year ago, the Gatorade Circle of Champions National High School Baseball Player of the Year. Boy, everybody wanted a piece of A.J. Hinch, and Stanford captured him. A good job by the runner. Brian Dallimore really taking Winslett right out of his concentration. Boy, over the past week, Hinch has been on a tear, hitting .429 in 4 games for the Cardinal. Winslett out of the set. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, and Misty struck him out.
Good location, good running fastball that tied up Hinch that time. Let's take a look at it from center field. Watch this ball tail down and in. Very difficult pitch to hit. Very difficult pitch to get the bat on and hit it squarely.
Here comes Judd Hansen. 306 on the year. He's sent 8 of them whistling out of ballparks around the West Coast. 38 RBIs. And he's got Dallimore in scoring position at second base with 1 out here in the top of the first. Winslett. Now they've got him caught. Throw to second base, and easy out.
That's what good teams do. That's why the Sun Devils are leading the Pac-6 division. Not only do they hit the ball far and pitch it well, but they play solid defense. And in college, plays are very, very important. Let's take a look this time. He's got him by at least 5 or 6 strides. Easily out. The bases blocked. Out number 2.
There's Hansen. Hit hard to left field. Backing up is Delnos. He settles and makes the catch. So after the lead double to Delmore for Stanford, Winslett settles and cuts down the Cardinal. Back in the bottom of the first in a moment. To the plate to get things going offensively for the second-ranked Sun Devils. Stanford with the leadoff double, and that is all the damage thus far. For Arizona State, leading off is Jacob Cruz, the center fielder. Batting second and playing second base, Sal Cardinal. The first baseman, Doug Newstrom, will bat third. The DH, Paul LaDuca, a .455 batting average, will hit fourth, followed by Antone Williamson, Todd Cady, the catcher, and Todd Delnos, the left fielder. Hitting in the number 8 hole is the shortstop, Santiago Rivera. And playing right field in batting ninth, Scott Shores.
Defensively for the Cardinal, Hinch catching, Allen at first, Zans at second, Hansen at short, Dallimore at third, LaRocca, Meyer, and Van Wagenen in the outfield, and Lorraine pitching.
Now Andrew Lorraine, he's a left-hander, wears number 23, 6-4 on the year, an ERA of 4.32. His biggest problem, Steve, has been keeping opposing runners off the base paths. He's pitched 89 plus innings and has given up a whopping 106 base hits.
Well, I think a lot of times not only base hits, but some walks have caused a lot of base runners. And when you have that, anything can happen. Error on a pass ball, a sacrifice fly. You're going to get hurt when you have that number of base runners on against you.
That's a good point. He has walked 43 batters in the 89 plus innings he has been on the mound. So that's an area that if you make those kind of mistakes against a team like Arizona State, they'll not only beat you, they'll pound you all afternoon. To lead it off for the Sun Devils, here comes hard-hitting center fielder Jacob Cruz. Look at those numbers, 347, 9 home runs by a leadoff hitter.
Reminds me a little bit of Barry Bonds, his dad, Bobby Bonds. He used to lead off with home runs.
Left-hander winds, and Cruz swings on the first offering and puts it on the screen. There is Jim Brock. Had a chance to visit with him earlier today. 22 seasons at the helm of Arizona State, and to think this was a temporary job when Bobby Winkles left here back in the 70s.
Game by game, as he still says. We talked to him today. Coach, how long are you going to go? He says, well, I'll make a decision after today. I think he's pretty comfortable here, Phil.
Boy, I'll tell you, look at the number of wins. He got number 1,000 last year, got 39 more this year, 1,049 in his career here at Tempe, Arizona. Outside corner, he got it. A ball and 2 strikes now to Jacob Cruz.
When you look at Jacob, he's not the typical leadoff hitter. He takes a little bit bigger swing, but he makes very, very good contact. And as far as a table setter, he really leads this great Arizona State offense.
Stanford playing Cruz straight away and relatively deep in right. Swung on and again foul to the screen.
Come on, Andrew.
Now there's Jim Brock's record we spoke of, 1,049 wins, only 417 losses. 22 seasons here in Tempe, Arizona. Boy, those are incredible numbers.
We had 17 losses before, but even 417 is excellent.
Missed outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, I'll tell you, only one man in the history of college baseball amassed 1,000 wins faster than Jim Brock, and of course it's Texas's great Clint Gustafson. Boy, Texas and Texas A&M, what a battle that is this weekend down at College Station. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, bounced wide of third, foul. Ever have a chance, Steve, to play down at that Texas facility in Austin?
No, I really haven't. I've seen it once and was very, very impressed. But we're impressed today with this Packard Stadium. This is as good as you're going to find at least as far as the field conditions themselves. Well-cut Bermuda grass, nice and low, good textured infield, great playing conditions.
Cruz battles and loses the battle this time around. Boy, what a slider from Andrew Lorraine, and Cruz goes down swinging.
Both of these pitchers throwing very well in this first inning. Let's take a look at this slider low and away, and even if he didn't swing at it, I'm quite sure the umpire would have called it for strike 3. Good place to pitch Cruz on the outside half of the plate.
Here is Sal Cardinal. .313 hitter. Tries to run a fastball inside and missed. Ball 1. I'll tell you, if you're a college player, what a place to play. And I'm sure sit down and talk to Sal Cart now, look around this place and tell you, oh, this is paradise. I'll tell you, they've got a pretty good one up at Stanford, Sunken Diamond. 1-0 pitch. Line foul.
Well, that's what's special about the Pac-10, Phil. Not only do we talk about the Pac-6, the Southern Division, but up in Northern California and in the Northwest, some nice, quaint stadiums. We were at Washington last week. Lovely little ballpark there. And all of these fields have character and they're well maintained.
The left-hander deals. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and again hit foul down the right field line. A couple of weeks ago, Steve, I was up in Seattle doing a game at the Kingdom, and it was interesting to grab hold of one of these Pac-10 baseballs. They have a raised seams that, boy, you can really get your fingers on.
Well, it also has a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which means these balls jump regardless if it's the heat of the desert or an indoor facility with controlled conditions.
Boy, there was just a beautiful breaking ball from Andrew Lorraine. Look at this placement.
Let's look again. Look at this sharp braiding, a little bit of a backdoor curve slider that time. Didn't work the inside, but worked the outside. Good pitch location and selection in this first inning.
So Lorraine gets the first two Sun Devils here, Cruz and Cardinal, and now he'll go to work on Doug Newstrom, hitting .356, and look at the power numbers.
Anytime you have an on-base percentage of .507, that means not only are you getting on base, but you're going to score runs. You're going to have run production. That's what Newstrom's in that lineup with that third spot for.
Here's the 0-1. Chopped high out in front of first base. Hinch is going to field it. You know, Newstrom thought it was a foul ball. He stood in the batter's box. By the time he realized, hey, that might be fair, he was gunned down. 2-3 on the putout. 3 up, 3 down for the Rain. We've got one of the books. We're scoreless from the desert. Is Dusty Allen. Hitting .267. He's got 5 home runs. He powered out his 5th last Sunday against the Wildcats of Arizona. That's Winslett for Arizona State on the mound today. Temperature 92 degrees. The right-hander deals. Allen waits. There's the slider, and it misses outside. Nope, he cut the corner. Strike 1, says Marty Camacho. That looked like the identical pitch. Strike 2.
Let's take a look. Good high knee action. Really drops down, gets on top of the pitch. Really impressed by the way he keeps his elbow up, which allows him to release through the ball and get good velocity.
Winslett deals 0-2. Bounced it in, a ball and 2 strikes. Dusty Allen's only a sophomore, Steve, out of Oklahoma City. And like so many freshmen over the last couple of years for Mark Marquis, he found himself in a starting role last year.
And he's good size, too. A lot of these guys are over 6'2", and Marquis has got a big team. A team that's going to improve because they do have talent. In a year like this, sometimes you have to sacrifice to allow them to get the experience for 1994, 1995.
Winslett deals 2-2. Missed ball 3. Well, Allen. Last year he played in the Alaska Summer League. He was named to the All-Star team, hitting .324, had 6 home runs last summer. In fact, he was on the same team with Hanson and teammate Brian Dallimore. That has to help you.
It has, and he also thought he was struck out that time. He started to walk away. Never walk away. Let the umpire shoo you away.
Well, that time he was shooed away. Not looking at a 3rd strike.
Let's take a look at this pitch. Good fastball in the outside corner, tailing back just a little bit. Very tough pitch to decide when you're a right-handed hitter.
Here is Todd LaRocca. Playing left field today for Stanford. Swings on the first pitch, pops it foul wide of first.
Good catch.
Newstrom get it, he got it.
Great catch by Newstrom. And a ball hit off the end of the bat of LaRocca. Let's take a look at this pitch. He jams him, fights it off on the inside part of the bat. Newstrom comes over, takes a dive, and comes up with, let's look at this angle. Now you can see the ball go in the glove, and he's safe into the coach's box. Good play.
So Newstrom with a fine catch, the second out for Stanford here in the second. Here is Rod Meyer.
That's the way back.
Meyer with a home run and 10 ribbies. Has not been the regular starter for Mark Marquis in center field. Fly ball behind second base. Out goes Cardinal. He's going to get to it. Reaches up and makes the catch. Couple of great defensive plays. One by Doug Newstrom and that one by Sal Cardinal. We're going to the bottom of the second. It's Arizona State nothing, Stanford nothing. Back at that catch that ended the top of the second inning again. Well, what a catch.
Excellent catch by Cardinal. He breaks back and really starts to hustle, but he keeps the ball on his left side, keeps the glove up, doesn't bounce around and stabs at it, and makes an easy catch. Makes a tough play easy. And he's happy with himself. He knows it was a tough one.
Here is Paul LaDuca, the designated hitter for Arizona State, number 1 in America in RBIs. Look at that number, 74. Nobody's done it better. 12 home runs and a batting average that is the envy of everyone in baseball, no matter what level you're at.
He goes up swinging because when you have a 489 on base percentage, let's look at this first. 33 game hitting streak, hit safely in 51 of the last 52 games. That's a contact hitter.
Almost had that streak ended just a couple of weeks ago against UNLV. But they always say, Steve, that hitting streaks have a little luck involved, and that was the first time LaDuca needed some. He had gone 0 for 3 with a walk against UNLV. In a game that UNLV led, Arizona State came back and tied it in the 9th, and in the bottom of the 10th, Jacob Cruz led off the inning with a home run. Then with one out, LaDuca came to the plate and won it with a home run. Boy, take a look at that. Roger Schmuck back in 71 had a 45-game hitting streak. Hubie Brooks in 78 put 36 games together. And LaDuca's number 3 ahead of Bump Wills. Lifted foul out of play.
Some pretty good names in that category, too, Phil. Let's take one more look. Hubie Brooks, obviously twice in this category, and has had a very good major league career. Bump Wills, son of Maury Wills. Now Paul LaDuca right in there with the best of Sun Devils.
You know, when Schmuck arrived at the park, when that hitting streak began way back in 71, the first day he got a hit that started that 45-game streak, he was hitting 167. Base hit! 34 straight games for LaDuca.
That's a good way to take the pressure off early. Let's take a good look at this, because when you watch LaDuca, watch the extension of the arms and the bat speed. The ball just ricochets off that aluminum and freezes the second baseman, has no chance, and the streak goes on.
LaDuca, Steve, went from not being in Baseball America's Player of the Year watch to almost forcing them to at least give him some consideration. I mean, he is a force here in 93. Here was Antone Williamson. Well, what a 1-2 punch. We talked about them at the top of our telecast. Williamson hitting 384 with 9 home runs and 71 RBIs. We told you that LaDuca led the nation with 74 ribbies. Who's number 2 in the nation? The man at the plate right there with 71.
And the scouts love this young sophomore. Good, solid player, compact swing.
I'll tell you, the Padres offered him $100,000, and he just sort of thumbed his nose. He said, I want to wear the maroon and gold at Arizona State. We'll see you later.
That'll be tip money for Antone one of these years, because you just have to look at the stance. You like hitters with slow feet and quick hands, and Antone has that. He's got a good power arc, good extension, good power V with his arms, and is patient at the plate. I'm impressed with the way these Sun Devils just go up to the plate, Phil, and just go up there swinging. And good teams do that. They don't go up there feeling their way, especially in the first inning. They go up there and tell the pitcher, hey, I'm going to be swinging hard. I'm going to intimidate you.
Now there's a man who's responsible for that legacy, Jim Brock. 22 years here in Tempe. I'll tell you, if there's one thing that Jim Brock teaches and continues to teach, it's knowledge of the strike zone, exactly what you're talking about.
Well, that's why so many good professional players come out of Arizona State, is that they know the strike zone. Not only do they hit for average and power, but they also get on via walks.
Missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. What do you mean so many players coming out of Arizona State? You mean guys like Reggie Jackson, O.W. McDowell, Barry Bonds? I mean, who else?
They're going to lose... They're going to lose billboards in the outfield. They're going to run out of room pretty soon with these guys.
Floyd Bannister, Bob Horner played here. We talked about Hubie Brooks. Alvin Davis played here. Rick Monday, the former teammate. Sal Bando. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, chopped to second. To his left is Cardinal. He'll throw and retire Williamson, but moving to second is LaDucas. That's the only play LaRocca had. LaRocca ranging to his left, guns down Williamson. And LaDuca moves to second base. So a LaRocca and a LaDuca out at second base.
Sounds like it ought to be on a fight card sometime.
Exactly. LaDuca with a lead. Katie is the hitter. What big catcher. Out of San Diego, California, the La Mesa area. In fact, I know his father very well, Ron Katie.
6'4", 218. Perfect size for a catcher.
Lorraine takes a look at the runner and now pitches inside a ball, 2-0. Tell you, Katie, physically speaking, along the lines of a Sandy Alomar. Big guy, bulky looking, but great skills.
Bigger than his dad, too. Ron, a good friend of both of ours, and he's got good potential. I talked before the game about scouts looking for 2 things right now. They're looking for good, hard-throwing pitchers and good, solid-hitting catchers, and Katie is in that category.
2 balls, no strikes to Todd Katie. 14 home runs, 57 RBIs. LaDuca with the lead. Here's the pitch, and it's put on the screen. 2 balls and a strike. But Katie's set to dig back into the right side. We are scoreless here at Packard Stadium at Arizona State. Stanford nothing, the Sun Devils nothing. LaDuca takes the lead. Here's the pitch. Outside, 3 balls and a strike.
Even when Lorraine misses, it's just barely. He's worked the corners well. He's worked the ball up and down. He's done a good job against a free-swinging Sun Devil team.
Up Katie, he has been red hot of late, Steve. Last 15 games, he has had at least 1 hit in every game. Here's the 3-1. Swung on, chopped to third. Fielding it cleanly is Dallimore. Across, they got the runner. And that freezes LaDuca at second base. So Katie retired, 5-3. LaDuca hangs out at second, and here comes Todd Delnos. We were talking about the great players that have worn the maroon and gold of Arizona State. Interestingly enough, only the numbers 1 and 00 have been retired here. Of course, 00 belonging to O.W. McDowell, and number 1 by the first man to ever manage the Sun Devils, Bobby Winkles. Reggie's number not retired. Barry Bonds' number not retired. Here's the 0-1. Delnos has to move out. It's a ball and a strike. Of course, if you retired all of the All-Americans and draft choices here at Arizona State, there'd be no numbers left.
Start to run out of numbers.
Those are the only 2 right there. Now they have Reggie Jackson up there. And Barry Bonds is up there. Here's the 1-1. Lifted foul wide of right field, and out of play it goes.
No, I think Reggie his number was retired this year, a year in which he is going into the Hall of Fame, the only player to go in the Hall of Fame. Apropos for a couple of different retirements for Reggie this year. The year of the Reg.
Yeah.
93.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. LaDuca with the lead. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, he froze him. Great pitch from Andrew Lorraine. His third strikeout of the ball game. It comes with a runner at second. We've played 2. We are scoreless from Arizona State. About Arizona State baseball, just imagine the stories you'd hear over the years.
Oh, that's a great thing about history, and especially about this Sun Devil history, because they have won national championships. They've had good players. They've had great players. They've had professional players and then great major league players. So that all unfolds to make a wonderful history for a great university.
Now there's some of the all-stars we talked about. Rick Monday, 1965 with the A's. Of course, the year after he was the first player selected in the first baseball draft. Reggie Jackson in 66. Floyd Bannister in 76. Look at Landreau, Horner, Hubie Brooks, McDowell, Bonds, Pat Listach with the Brewers last year. For the third we go, here's Brody Van Wagenen. He's the right fielder, hitting .275, and he's hitting in the number 7 spot. I love these college averages. 3 home runs, 27 RBIs.
It's steady progress. I've watched him throughout the season, and he's a young man who's really starting to mature. I like his number, too, that number 6. I'm very partial to number 6.
Can't imagine why.
Can't imagine.
Winslett winds. Here's the 1-1. Swung through a high fastball. Ball and 2 strikes.
It's an interesting pitch because it's a very good pitch. When you start to work the players down and then all of a sudden throw a pitch up, the player's looking down and can't get the bat speed up. So that's a good pitch to mix in with his repertoire.
Oh, look at that. Boy, what pitch selection.
Fastball up, freezes him with a slider right over the plate. Again, both pitchers doing a great job on the mound.
Steve, what makes some hitters better high ball hitters than others? I mean, is there something about a batter's mechanics that just automatically makes you more of a high ball hitter than a low ball hitter?
First of all, you have to have your hands up. Your hands have to be at the top of the strike zone to be a good high ball hitter. There's no way that if you start your hands down below your chest or waist that you can get them up in time to get that ball. But if you keep the bat at the top of the strike zone, all you have to do then is swing on a level plane. So it's a good place to start. You can always go down for the ball, but I teach young hitters to keep their hands up so they can hit the high pitch too.
Missed low and inside to Steve Carver, who's hitting .317. The count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, we're watching the videos of when you hit. Remember, you had your hands so high, yet you were a great low ball hitter as well.
Golfer. I grew up in Florida and started playing golf when I was about 8 or 9, and you couldn't get the ball too low for me because if you just think about it, if you take the bat high and just throw it straight down, that's great bat speed. I mean, that's like a golf club going after a ball. If you take your hands up and just swing on a level plane, it's not going to have that velocity because it's a shorter distance. So I'd love to take a good cut at the low ones.
Missed outside. 3 balls into strike. So what you're telling me is that's the reason you're a better golfer than tennis player.
That's right. I love both, but I've dropped my handicap about 6 strokes. So we're getting ready for the new Professional Athletes Golf League next year, which is going to be on ESPN.
3 balls and a strike, and it's lined into center field. A base hit for Carver. So a 1-out single here. And Carver becomes the second Sun Devil base runner in the ball game. Brian Dallimore opened the game with a sinking double to the right field corner.
Let's take a look at this stance. See how he gets the hands and extends them through. See the body balance. If you took a line from his chin straight down, he would have good balance on both halves of his stride. And that's what you want. You don't want to be too much on the front foot or too much on the back foot. Good body balance is not only the key to hitting, but to fielding, to pitching, catching. In every sport, the athletes with the best body balance are the best athletes.
Here's Jeff Desjardins. He's a junior out of La Mesa, California, just east of San Diego. Winslett stares in at Todd Katie. He's got the sign, checks the runner at first base, now throws over, and Carver just walks back onto the bag. We are in the top of the 3rd inning. Stanford no runs on 2 hits. Arizona State ranked number 2 in the nation, no runs on 1 hit. Winslett comes set. Runner goes, pitch is swung on and fouled out of play.
Jeff's known as a scrappy player, and if you just take a look at him, you get the feeling that he likes to get into the game. And scrappy players usually wear those low numbers, too. He's wearing number 1, and he likes to make things happen. He likes to dive for the balls and likes to hit and run, drop the ball down. Likes to be right in the middle of things.
So oftentimes at every level of baseball, Steve, you find that teams that don't have great power like to try and get it done on the base paths, taking a few more chances than you ordinarily would if you had the big bangers. And Stanford is certainly reflective of that philosophy. Here in '93, they don't have power. They don't have a great deal of ability to get the ball into the alleys, and because of that, they like to try and steal as many bases as possible. They have 63 on the year. And there goes the runner again. Swung on and missed a throw down to second base. Oh, man.
Never tagged him.
Hunter's going to be safe. Rivera never touched him.
Let's we'll take a look at the jump, and then we'll take a look at what ended up to be an aborted tag. Doesn't get a real good first stride. Not a real fast player, but they're trying to make something happen. Now he's got the ball early, and he jumps to avoid him instead of putting the glove down. Never touches him. He must have just gone blank when he thought he was going to get hit and thought that he would just naturally get the glove on him somehow, but a mental error.
So Carver credited with the stolen base. Now with the runner at second, Desjardins waits, and he misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Dax Winslett.
Mental mistakes don't usually happen for this Sun Devil team. They usually are in the game defensively as well as offensively, but defensively, no, they've got to put on the plays and do all the little things to stay in the tough games.
Dax Winslett, the right-hander, is a junior from Plano, Texas. Found his way to Tempe by way of McClellan Junior College. Same program that produced Sean Lowe, a first-round pick of the Cardinals last year. Jim Brock was hoping he'd step right into the rotation. Boy, did he ever. Defense, straight away, medium depth for Jeff Desjardins. The Stanford runner at second is Carver. Winslett looks at him. Here's the 2-2. Down the right field line. It's going to slice foul.
Desjardins that time looking to the right side because Cardinal was shading towards second base, leaving a bigger hole on that right side for Desjardins to hit it to, and he almost got it in there.
Now Dax Winslett. He has been tremendous against Pac-10 hitters, and this is a tough hitting Southern Division. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Missed high, a ball. We were talking to Jim Brock before the game about Winslett's changeup. He said not a great changeup, but when he can spot it, it's very effective.
It's all relative to the velocity that you have. And you can just think about it, Fernando Valenzuela right now. He had the great screwball, but he had about an 85, 87 fastball. Now that fastball is about 80, and there's not that much difference between the 2 pitches. Same situation here. If you don't have a good fastball to go along with your changeup, the contrast isn't going to be enough to get the hitter out or to get him to swing and miss. That's when you have the great changeups. The guys that can throw the balls where the batter just swings and misses it completely. A guy like an Andy Messersmith back in the 70s. Doug Rao, who I played with, guys who had the same motion as their fastball, and that ball would just come up there and just float up there.
Desjardins waits. Here's the full count offering. Missed outside. Ball 4. You're talking about Valenzuela. Is fastball down to about 80 miles an hour now?
I would think so. I really think that through the years he's thrown a lot of innings and a lot of pitches. And not only did he pitch in the major leagues, he went down and pitched in Mexico also. There's always that debate as to how old is Fernando, but I seem to think he's relatively the age they have in the books, but maybe give her 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, there's some speculation that number in the book might be 7 or 8 years off.
Not too much, but just a lot of wear and tears on his arm, which means not a lot of elasticity left.
Dallimore pounds it to the right side, rounding third, and coming to the plate is Carver. He's going to score. And Stanford has taken a 1-0 lead as the Cardinal has runners on the corner and just 1 out. Boy, great hit and run executed by Dallimore.
Great job that time of taking an outside pitch and just poking it to the right side. The runners are going, slider outside, good back control, hits through the hole. The runner scores, and now you've got runners on first and third and 1 out.
Here Here comes A.J. Hinch. He struck out in the second inning with Dallimore at second base. So Dallimore with the first RBI of the ball game. Hinch stands in with runners on first and third. Winslett checks Katie for the side. Fingers go down. Winslett to the set. Called strike.
Now, as a young hitter, you're going up there with a runner in scoring position and less than 2 out. You've got to be aggressive. You can't really get yourself in a hole, especially against a guy who is spotting the ball as well as Winslett is. And go up there and be aggressive.
Here's the 0-1 pitch out. Nothing doing. Arizona State, the preseason prognosticator, Steve, said this team will finish no better than 5th in this 6-team Southern Division. Boy, has that man dealt the critics a severe blow.
And he's done it many times in the past.
Oh, has he ever?
You can never take an Arizona State or a USC or a Texas and rank them any lower than maybe 3rd, because they're going to be well coached.
2 balls and a strike now to Hinch. Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's oftentimes the part of the equation that so many of the so-called experts tend to leave out, is the effect on coaching and stability at the coaching range.
Especially at this level. At the professional level, it isn't quite as important, but at the amateur level, and especially good college baseball, that coach is very important, not only for the physical development, but the mental.
At leaving the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. They were talking about the difference in the baseballs, this Pac-10 ball as opposed to a major league ball with the seams raised. It would seem to me to give the pitcher a distinct advantage in that he can grab that ball and really spin it.
I've seen pitchers throw 3 or 4 balls back to the umpire until the umpire says, this is it. You're going to keep this ball. You're going to use it. And you know what they'll do? They'll throw it in the dirt. They'll make the umpire get rid of it. But more for the hitters, we want those tight seams. It doesn't, not necessarily the raised one, but we want the tight seam. Let's take a look at the pitcher now. Let's take a look at what type of grip he has. He's changing it in his hand. Let's see if he holds at 4 seams. Can't quite see it this time.
Runner moving. 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. There'll be no throw to second, as Dallimore will have a stolen base. Second stolen base in the inning for Stanford. Their 65th of the year. So Hinch, the second out here in the 3rd inning. Second time he has struck out. And with 2 outs, runners at second and third. Here's Jet Hansen. He flied out to Todd Delnos on a well-hit ball to end the 1st inning. Boy, a base hit here, and Stanford breaks it open. They lead at 1-0. Desjardins at second. Dallimore is at second base. Pardon me. At third base, it is Desjardins. Dallimore's at second base.
It's a good test for Winslett right now, Phil, because with runners in scoring position, Stanford can break it open a little bit and get a good cushion.
Winslett's one hopper to first. What a play by Newstrom. That ball was destined for the right field corner. And Newstrom snagged it, stepped on first. Hansen and Stanford gone in the 3rd. They come up with a run. They lead it 1-0.
End the inning with runners on second and third. As you can see here, line drive hits the dirt. He's in midair, makes the catch, gets up and scrambles towards first base. This saved 2 runs and kept Stanford with only 1 run in the top of the 3rd.
Stanford a run on 2 hits, no errors. They left 2. And the Cardinals with first blood here in game 2 of this 3-game series. To the bottom of the 3rd we go. It'll be Santiago Rivera to lead it off for Arizona State. He's the shortstop. He'll be followed by Scott Shores in the number 9 hole. Then the top of the order, Jacob Cruz.
Rivera hitting .264, .385 on base average, no home runs, 9 RBIs, but has solidified the shortstop position for Arizona State.
Now he's got a pinch hitter. It is Cody McKay. McKay hitting .244. He's got a home run. 9 RBIs.
I'll have to try to find out what happened to Rivera. He may have had some physical problem and taken out of the game.
2 balls and no strikes. Boy, this is so important for Andrew Lorraine to get that early lead, Steve, after the way Stanford has struggled virtually all year long. You can't let a team that can just blast the baseball all over the park like Arizona State take an early lead and a commanding lead. And Stanford here in the first 3 innings has done precisely what they set out to do. Across to Allen, and McKay is gone 6-3 to open the Sun Devil third.
Phil, you're so right. You want these Sun Devils to know, especially if you're a young team, to respect you. And Stanford wants to come away with at least 1 win this weekend. They know that Arizona State is on a roll, and if they can get 1, it'll be a little bit of a confidence builder for them.
Here's the junior from Phoenix, Arizona, Scott Shores. He's hitting .264, pops it up. Behind second, LaRocca out. Hansen is out. In comes Rod Meyer, the center fielder, battling the sun and makes the catch. Now, we were talking at breakfast today about it. You and I could go back and we knew what we knew now back then, where we would go to school. And I was commenting to you that I think I'd pick Arizona State.
Well, it's got all the qualities and venues that you'd want if you are thinking in terms of not only getting a great education, but going on farther than just the amateur ranks. You can take a look at this field, and it's better than, I would say, half of the major league spring training facilities in this Phoenix area.
Well, too, had I done that back in 1969, a guy by the name of Mike Schmidt wouldn't have been ahead of me at third base.
That's right. He would be sitting in your seat today, and you would be on the way to the Hall of Fame with 500-plus home run.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Slow grounder to Hansen. Allen covers first. Throws Cruz out. 3 up and 3 retired for the Sun Devils. We've got 3 down and 6 to go. It's Stanford 1, Arizona State nothing. Of Arizona State, no runs on 1 hit. Well, we were talking about Packard Stadium and other stadiums around America in the college ranks. And Steve, you played at a good one at East Lansing, John Cobes Field.
I did. It was a wonderful field, a beautiful 100-foot trees behind the outfield and the Red Cedar River running behind it. But we only played about 18 games there, simply because it was so cold. We'll talk about that in a minute.
New shortstop. We will take Santiago Rivera out of the book and add the name Cody McKay, who came on to lead off the bottom half of the third for Arizona State. Dusty Allen still looking for his first hit in the ball game. He was caught looking to open the second inning. Winslett winds, and he swings through the fastball.
Big guy like Dusty really has to be conscious. He's got to get those hips through the ball. In other words, he has to bring that left leg back and really bring it forward and then explode the hips. He's a little locked up with his hips right now, which is normal for a big guy. He's got to work on that. And I was talking to Mark Marquis, a couple of his guys who are 6'3", 6'4", have that problem. They're still young, and he's working with them. They have a tendency to block their hips sometimes and hit the ball the other way, which is okay for average, but for power, it really keeps you from exploding through the ball.
Winslett winds. Here's the 1-2. Got him.
We'll take a look at the swing of Dusty Allen. Throughout the game, we'll analyze different players. Pretty short stride. You can see his balance. He's really out on his front foot. Doesn't have the good balance like we saw before. When a hitter hits the ball solidly, finishes up with the bat in front of him instead of behind him. Not good hitting mechanics for that at bat.
LaRocca swings on the pitch and misses. No balls and a strike from Dax Winslett. As LaRocca's numbers coming in, 305, 4 home runs, 23 RBIs. To second base, Cardinal to his right, gets the short hop, throws across to Newstrom. And LaRocca is a 4-3 casualty here in the fourth.
As you can see, Winslett is mixing his pitches up well. He'll work that fastball in on a right-handed hitter, and then the next right-handed hitter, he'll set him up for the slider away. So he's got a good concept of the strike zone, and he's got good control today.
Outside corner, a strike to Rod Meyer. Popped up, right side. Newstrom clears Cardinal away and makes the catch. An easy inning for Dax Winslett. We're headed now for the bottom of the fourth. We've got a good one from Tempe. Stanford 1, Arizona State nothing. To the top of the seventh inning we go, and to lead things off for Stanford, this is Todd LaRocca. Came into the game hitting .305. 0 for 2 today. Swings on the first pitch and lifts it into the seats here at Packard Stadium. Well, the wind beginning to pick up now here in Arizona State, blowing from third base into straightaway center field. Winslett winds and delivers outside and low. A ball, 1 strike. Dax Winslett, D-A-X. Dad named him after the lead character in the Harold Robbins novel, The Adventurers. Fly ball, center field. Jacob Cruz measures it, puts his glove up, and makes the catch.
And we're cruising right along. We talked before the game about this matchup and how they had met previously this season with Winslett and Lorraine, and pitched a great game against each other then. And today they've picked up where they left off. 1 run in 6 innings, only 6 hits between the two teams. Pretty good defense, only 1 error. Pretty good college game right here, Phil.
Indeed it is. Rod Meyer, he's 0 for 2. Winslett delivers the first pitch, almost caught him on the shoulder, a ball and no strikes. Yeah, we were talking about the great names that have played here at Packard Stadium. Guys like Bando, Monday, Reggie Jackson, Larry Gura. How about Kenny Landreau? Not to mention McDowell and Barry Bonds. I'll tell you, up at Stanford, there is no shortage of great names there either. Look at that. Bobby Brown, Doug Camilli, Bob Boone,
Steve Bushell, Jack McDowell, Ruben Amaro, Mike Messina, who is doing a great job for the Baltimore Orioles.
If you want to turn the clock way back, how about guys like Jim Longboy?
That's right. We were just talking about the relative past history. Sandy Vance, who I played my first season with in Ogden, Utah, was a heck of a pitcher. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Just a couple years in the major leagues, but was a great college pitcher.
Ed Sprague also went to Stanford, didn't he?
Yes.
3 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Meyer. Swung on. He'll put it on the screen, and the count goes full of 3 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, speaking of Jack McDowell, what a start he is off to this year.
So he's starting to really get into the prime now of his career. He's got the confidence. He's had the good seasons. Physically, he's at his peak. Should have another 4 or 5 great years.
Here's the full count pitch from Winslett. Popped him up right side. Newstrom going out. Moving over is Cardinal, and it is Cardinal who ice cream cones it. Oh, what a catch.
This had trouble written all over it, but Cardinal, who's made 2 great plays now, stayed with it all the way. Once Newstrom went out for it and looked up, he no longer had a chance. He couldn't get under it. Cardinal had the better angle, comes over and goes into a slide, and it rolls to the end of the glove, snow cones, and it casually just puts it back in the pocket. We're out number 2.
Brody Van Wagenen now looks at the first offering from Winslett, and it is low, a ball. Boy, what a job Sal Cardinal did of making the catch off the bat of Rod Meyer. Second out for Stanford here in the 7th. 1-0 pitch, swung through the high fastball.
You can tell when a pitcher has velocity, Phil, when he keeps getting that fastball by the hitter up around the letters. Look at this fast one. The hitter can't quite catch up with it. Like I mentioned before, that's the toughest pitch to get good bat speed. Now he loosens him up with a good tailing fastball inside. Now I wouldn't be surprised if he threw a fastball low and away or that tight slider on the outside.
Winslett, he has pitched well today. Here's the 2-1 pitch, swung on to leaving the count at 2-2. Came in with a 8-3 record. I think over the last few weeks here in Pac-10 play, Steve, that certainly Winslett and Mark Barcelo have given the second-ranked Sun Devils perhaps the best 1-2 starting rotation in the Southern Division of the Pac-10 Conference.
Not only have they been good for their teams, but they are also putting a few stars next to their name in the scouts book, because when you're number 2 in the country and have probably 8 or 10 players on the team who have pro potential, a pitcher like Winslett can really impress a scout with his ability.
It is ball 4. Well, it's an interesting motion by Marty Camacho. I wasn't sure, as late as he has been calling strikes, if he was indicating a strike 3 late call. Now watch the umpire here.
Let's take a look at the pitch. It could be a little low, could be a little bit outside, but he calls it a ball. Now the pitcher, Winslett, starts to walk off the mound and then just snaps at the ball when it's thrown back. Now, if you do that in the major leagues, you're going to have an umpire come out and talk to you on that one.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Somebody be chewing on your leg.
Okay, umpires don't like to be shown up that way.
And Wagenen at first. The pitch now to Steve Carver, who is 1 for 2. He singled and stole a base back in the 3rd inning. Came around to score the only run in the game on the base hit by Dallimore.
You just see Thomas sort of waddling out there, arguing.
Pitch swung on, line to center field. It's a base hit. The second is Van Wagenen. And now with 2 outs, Stanford with runners on first and second, and we go to the number 9 hold and Jeff Desjardins. Desjardins, he walked back in the 3rd and popped up to Williamson for the 3rd out in the 5th inning. A base hit here, and Stanford would double its lead. It's 1-0 Cardinal here in the 7th. Tesla delivers. It is in there, a called strike. Todd Delmos in left field is straight away and deep. Jacob Cruz is swung around into right center field ever so slightly. The outfield all the way around is playing Desjardins deep. Boy, look at this day here in the desert. What a beautiful spring afternoon.
Beautiful day. The flag's blowing from left to right center. The outfield is shaded that way, meaning Winslett's going to try to pitch him away.
Ooh, crossed him up, threw an inside fastball.
Set him up with that first pitch, though, that first fastball away. Let's take a look at this pitch. He's done this all day. He's moving the ball in and out. Bottom almost drops out on that pitch just because it's a good location and he's really got it moving, tailing inside.
Winslett checks the runners. Deals 0-2 to Desjardins. What a pitch. He got him. It was a beauty. He just froze him with the change. A pitch that has been somewhat troublesome by the big right-hander. He delivers it to perfection. We're going now to the bottom of the 7th. And while we were away, Steve Garvey led a rousing rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
I've been asked to be the lead in the Phantom of the Opera once or twice, but I decided to stick to just the national anthems at ballparks.
The mask didn't fit.
My face was too pudgy for that.
Oh, damn. No balls in the strike here as Paul LaDuca leads off the Sun Devils 7th. He's got 12 home runs, 74 RBIs. The left-hander winds. LaDuca swings and misses. Boy, if you're Andrew Lorraine, that is exactly where you want Paul LaDuca right now. LaDuca, number 1 in the nation with 74 ribbies. Singled to lead off the 2nd inning. Here's the 0-2. Drop 3rd strike. Hinch comes out of the crouch, and he'll easily throw LaDuca out. It'll go down in your books as a swinging strikeout. So LaDuca is gone to open the Arizona State 7th.
And Phil, that speaks a lot about the Sun Devils offense today when LaDuca leads off 2 of the innings. What he's best at is driving in runs. Nobody has been on in front of him, and he's had to lead off. That's why they have no runs in this bottom of the 7th at Packard Stadium, Arizona State.
Here is Anton Williamson, the other powerhouse for Arizona State. Came into the game hitting .384, and you saw right there he is hitless today. Check swing, he went around. They're going to appeal to third, and Dowdy says yes. Now it appeared from up here as if that's a good call.
We always talk about this being the most difficult call for an umpire. Either the head of the bat has to go past the plate like it does there, or the wrists have to break. In this case, the wrists stay firm, but the head of the bat goes past.
Outside corner. Boy, Lorraine, he is really in a groove now, and it's a good thing because the wind is picking up, and with a left-hand hitter up there, if Williamson gets the ball into the jet stream to right, it could wind up in Prescott. Swung on and missed strike 3.
He's in a groove. He just takes that slider and just puts it right down on the knees for another strikeout.
So with 2 outs, Lorraine will face Todd Cady. Cady has one of Arizona State's 2 hits. It was a 1-out infield single back in the 5th inning.
That fastball was clocked at 85 miles per hour. Good velocity for Lorraine. Probably his fastest pitch today.
And you look at Lorraine's numbers today, the most critical, 5 strikeouts, no walks. Just 2 hits through 6 2/3.
I love that big 0 underneath the BBs in that column.
Now he got LaDuca and Williamson to strike out swinging. And now he goes 3-0 to Cady.
Just trying to really pound that fastball in Cady's hands. That must be the game plan. Now he's got to get the ball to the plate, but he's got to be very careful against this power hitter.
Missed outside. That's the first base on balls that Lorraine has allowed today, and that is in sharp contrast, Steve. You pointed it out in the first inning. We looked at Lorraine's walk to strikeout ratio. It was not particularly good. He has allowed 44 walks now in just over 95 innings.
But better late than never. He's had excellent control today, and maybe he's hitting his stride even though it is the last quarter of the season. He's pitched extremely well, and he looks like he's nice and fluid coming off that mound.
Here's Delnos. One ball, no strikes.
And the strike zone seems to be shrinking just a little bit.
Here's the 1-0, up high. Boy, on a day when the mercury is hitting 92 degrees, instead of sitting in those shaded dugouts, players for both Arizona State and Stanford elect to come on out and lean against the railing.
That's the norm in college baseball. You see the guys standing most of the time without a rail. On both sides here, a little bit of a rail to lean on, but they want to get as close to the action as they possibly can.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. Outside 3-0. I bet you there are a lot of people leaning on some rails at Churchill Downs.
That's right. You know, we talk about in the old days, you used to have some bench jockeying where the bench used to get on the batter or on the pitcher. I don't think you see that as much anymore. I think in college you're more concerned. There's a ball that gets away. That's 8 straight balls now for Lorraine. And he's on first and second in 2 outs. And this is the bottom of the 7th.
Well, the count was 1-0 on Cady.
Was it 1-0?
Well, it was 1-0 on Cady when I had mentioned that he had just found LaDuca and Williamson. He seemed to be in a groove, and then the groove went away. The groove disappeared quickly. You're right, 8 consecutive balls now after striking out the leadoff hitters for Arizona State. So with 2 out and 2 on now, here comes Cody McKay, and now the conference on the mound.
Mark Marquis is coming out probably just to settle Lorraine down at this point. He's done so well throughout the day. Mark is out there saying, okay, we've got 2 outs. Runners on first and second, 1-run lead. Let's knock the ball down. And Andy, you're doing good. Okay, you might be trying a little bit too hard right now. It's an important game for it. Just relax. Your rhythm's still good. Just keep that elbow up a little bit. He was dropping it down. That's why most of those pitches were down out of the strike zone. A little confidence building time on the mound for Mark Marquis and Andrew Lorraine.
Now Lorraine here with 2 outs in the 7th has only thrown 86 pitches. 54 have been for strikes. And now with 2 outs and 2 Sun Devils aboard, here comes Cody McKay. McKay came into the ballgame hitting .244. Does not have a great deal of power. Well, that strike zone, Steve, you are right. It has shrunk.
And these really aren't bad pitches. They're just missing. And Lorraine's got to say to himself, what do I have to do? I've got now a runner in scoring position, and I don't want to make too good a pitch, but I've been right there at the knees and at the corners.
Popped it up wide of third, charging for the line is Carver, and he won't get to it.
He would have jumped that fence, though, if he had a chance. He was over. He was thinking about it.
Now McKay, he got the gate yesterday, 0 for 4 in the series opener, a game that went to Arizona State 7-1. They had 7 runs on 12 hits. Stanford 1 run on 6 hits.
McKay with an open stance, and when you're a pitcher, you say, wait a minute, I got the outside half of the plate. Let's see if Lorraine works out there. Catcher shifts over.
Again out of play.
McKay fights it off. Now with a 1 ball and 2 strike count with 2 outs, Andrew Lorraine has the upper hand on McKay. Let's see how he tries to pitch him. Let's take a look at McKay's stance. As we noted, slightly open, not much power, good contact hitter, keeps the hands up.
Haney at second.
Catcher shifts out. Low knee's going to throw it. Plunks him right on the numbers. Against the 5 on the 15 a little bit. Now there's bases loaded with 2 outs. Let's show this now. Catcher is shifted outside low, and he just lets it get away. It's too early release. Let's take another look from a different angle. Okay, striding towards the pitcher. Good stride. Just takes a plunk on the back and says, okay, I'll take my base.
Now Jim Brock is out of the dugout. He's talking things over.
Strike this guy out.
Now we're going to have a pinch hitter. It'll be Bill Dunn who's coming on to hit for Scott Shores. Kind of surprised to see Bill Dunn, Steve, and talking to Jim earlier today. Bill severely sprained his, I believe, left ankle, maybe his right ankle, about 2 weeks ago, getting back to first base on a real fluke play. Just jammed it into the bag. Jim Brock said, when I first saw it, I thought it was broken. He's had a back injury. He broke 2 fingers, only missed 1 game because of the broken fingers. But I'll tell you, when you've got numbers like that, you've got to get him into the batter's box.
He's found the perfect spot. Bases loaded, 2 out. They need runs.
A strike to Dunn. Oh, boy.
This situation, the pinch hitting mentality is you've got to go up there swinging. You can't afford to take a strike or 2, or maybe the next pitch fool you, and now you've got 2 strikes and you haven't swung the bat. He's got to go up there and be aggressive.
Missed outside, a ball and a strike. Well, I tell you, Bill Dunn is a key component for this Arizona State offense. Has been all year. There's no question. He is the catalyst, the guy that really gets it rocking and rolling for the Sun Devils. Bases loaded. Bottom of the 7th. Here's the 1-1. Swung on. Ground ball to short. Hansen's got it. Will go to second base, and he drops the ball. And we're tied at 1.
All right, let's take a look at this play. It's a routine ground ball to shortstop. Hansen makes the play, throws to LaRocca, who's trying to feel for the bag and catch the ball at the same time, loses his concentration and drops the ball. The runner just keeps on going in. And we're tied at 1.
The Dunn gets the job done. And he comes right out of the ball game. It is Brian Lutens who has gone in to run for Dunn. So to third is Delmos. It is McKay at second and Lutens, the pinch runner, at first. And here's Jacob Cruz. A delayed call again by Marty Camacho.
Todd LaRocca really has nowhere to hide. He wants to dig a hole and just bury himself in it. He may not have dropped a ball this year or in many years. In that instance, he was making sure he tagged the bag and caught the ball and just lost his concentration.
Popped up. Hanson out, waving everybody off. Wind really catching it, reaches up and makes the catch.
Great job, Andrew. Great job.
Arizona State in the 7th. They tie it up. We're going to the 8th inning. It's the Sun Devils 1, Stanford 1. We are in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Sal Cardinal for Arizona State led off with a double to the wall in right center. Went to third on a ground ball to first base off the bat of Doug Newstrom, and that is where we stand with 1 out of the bottom of the 8th inning. Score tied at 1. Cardinal is 90 feet away from giving Arizona State a 2-1 lead. And here is Paul LaDuca, and they're going to put him on, and for good reason.
Good timing for Stanford because of LaDuca and Williamson, so they can put both of those batters on, load the bases with 1 out, and then have to face Katie, who is a little bit of a slower runner, and hope for a double play.
Game, Steve, where so often you see these offensive barrages, speaking of college baseball in general, ballooned ERAs. We are seeing a major league caliber game from the standpoint. Great defense, awesome pitching, tremendous location with pitches, and strategically one of the better college games I've seen in the last couple of years.
I agree with you. It's been a treat today, and I hope our viewers feel the same way. 2 very good college teams, although one is young in Stanford and developing. Arizona State's number 2 in the country, on their way to a division championship, possibly a World Series berth. And now in the bottom of the 8th, score tied 1-1. Runners on first and second, one of the great hitters in the country at the plate.
Left-hander versus left-hander. The pitch by Lorraine, swung on and missed. Well, I get the feeling here where Mark Marquis has decided to go with the percentages and pitch to Williamson. And we'll find out in the next couple of moments whether it was a wise move or not. Runners at first and third, we're tied. Lorraine kicks and deals, swung on, grounded to second. Picked up by LaRocca on to first base. He's out, but the go-ahead run scores, and the Sun Devils lead it 2-1.
It's a tough call. Mark Marquis deciding to pitch for the left-handed Williamson. Lorraine throws the ball over the plate so Williamson can extend the arms and pull the ball into the hole. LaRocca, who is shading towards second base, makes a tough play. When you're the runner on third base, in this case Cardinal, you just streak. You keep going. You're going to be the tying run, nice and easy. You notice there's no play on him.
2-1 Sun Devils. This is Katie now. The runner at second base is LaDuca. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Arizona State ranked number 2 in the nation. Trailed 1-0 until the bottom of the 7th. When they scored a run, added another one here in the 8th, and have taken a 2-1 lead.
Come on, Andrew.
It's a tough decision on Mark Marquis's part. He's the head coach. He's the man that makes the call. But in hindsight, and of course we're always 100% right there, loading the bases and pitching to the slower right-handed hitter would have been a better benefit.
And they're called strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to Katie. I'll tell you, I would love to see Todd Katie get those arms extended, because when he does, balls tend to disappear.
Pound for pound.
The left-hander deals. Katie waits. Outside, 3-1. Now Katie, 1 for 2. He grounded out in the second, singled on an infield hit in the 5th, and was walked in the 7th. Andrew Lorraine from the set. Checks LaDuca at second. Here's a 3-1 pitch swung on and missed, strike 2.
Katie wanted that one. He knew that Lorraine had to get the ball in the strike zone. Took a good kind of, sometimes you can almost overswing in those situations because you know the ball's coming in and you want to hit it so bad.
From a hitter's perspective, what pitch don't you want to see here?
In this case, I would think something down and in because he's looking outside. And
oh, and you called it.
That's the one. Perfect pitch by Lorraine.
Lorraine down and in. Katie down and out. But the Sun Devils break the deadlock here in the 8th. They lead it 2-1. Eight down, 1 up. Arizona State with a run in the 7th, a go-ahead run in the 8th, and that is where we stand. The Sun Devils 2 runs on just 3 hits. Andrew Lorraine has been spectacular, but he finds himself on the short end of a 2-1 count. I'm Phil Stone along with Steve Garvey. And Steve, we were talking back in the 7th inning, some of the games we have both seen throughout this 93 college baseball season, and I don't think there's any question this is one of the finest yet this season.
This is a great example of what direction these two teams are going in. Stanford, with their pitcher Andrew Lorraine, letting up only 3 hits, and somehow Arizona State, which is number 2 in the country, manufactures a run in the 7th inning to tie the score, then gets a leadoff double in the 8th inning, gets the runner over, and does what they have to do to get the run in to take the lead 2-1 going into the top of the 9th inning.
Now there's a man who has led his Cardinal to the NCAA Regionals 11 times in the last 12 seasons. Mark Marquis. And on the other side, the Grandmaster in his 23rd year took the job temporarily for Bobby Winkles back in '72. Said, don't get too comfortable. Bobby's coming back. Well, I think it's safe to say the gym is probably unpacked. Allen looks at a ball outside.
Well, he's outlived 5 athletic directors here at Arizona State since that time. That's pretty good testimony.
Yeah. I think Fred Miller's the one who moved him into that spot. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's a good ball and strike.
On the corners, first and third base, not quite on the line like you see a lot of major league defensive coaches positioning their players, a little bit off the line. It's more or less the new school of thought.
And by the way, I like the new school of thought. I've seen a lot of teams beaten by balls to the left side of the third baseman or to the right side of the first baseman.
For our viewers, the old philosophy was put the defensive player on the corners 1 step from the line so you take away the double. And invariably, you would let up probably 3 or 4 times more singles in that area he just vacated.
And I will guarantee you, check the record book. Singles start more winning rallies than doubles. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here. We're in the top of the 9th. Stanford at the plate, and they need a run to tie, 2 to take a lead. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Reaching for a short fly ball. Allen drills it to straightaway center. Cruz is there, and that's the first Cardinal out here in the 9th.
And the other thing, Phil, that starts a lot of rallies, and you've seen it today, is walks.
Oh, boy.
Andy Lorraine pitching a great game, gets 2 quick outs on 4 pitches, and all of a sudden he walks 2 guys, and that was the beginning of the end.
Here's La Roca. Ground ball to the right side. Oh, off the chest of Newstrom. He won't recover in time. Newstrom has been tested and retested all afternoon long. First time he has mishandled the ball today.
And a very difficult play for a first baseman. The big hop comes close to you and then comes up high. It doesn't stay down. This is one ball that came up today on what I think is a great textured infield. And it's a hit. It's given a hit. Like I said, a tough defensive play.
For Stanford, their 6th hit of the ball game, but they have been scattered. Winslett has been tremendous today. First pitch is a fastball, comes in letter high, a strike. And I guarantee you that's a pitch that Rod Meyer would like to see again. the 0-1. Puts it out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Meyer. LaRocca aboard at first with 1 out. He represents the tying run. For Dax Winslett, he is 2 outs away from his 9th victory of the season.
What do you do now if you're Mark Marquis? In the back of your mind, the aggressive Marquis thinks in terms of getting that runner going, making something happen against a very tough Winslett.
Little looper into center field. That'll drop for a base hit. Rounding second and holding is LaRocca. That's the first time in this ball game that Stanford has put 2 base hits together. That's the kind of job Dax Winslett has done.
First back-to-back hits of the game. And an interesting pitch on no balls and 2 strikes that time. It was hittable. You've got to waste a pitch in that situation. You can't get too cocky and try to finish him off in 3 straight.
Now you see Mike Fenton and Noah Peary beginning to loosen up. Peary's the right-hander, Fenton the left-hander. Winslett with runners at first and second. Here's the pitch up high to Brody Van Wagenen. Van Wagenen yesterday on the series opener 1 for 4. And now here comes pitching coach Bill Kinneberg. 7 years head coach at Wyoming. Came over to join Jim Brock this year. I was kind of surprised Bill decided to leave Wyoming after the great success he had experienced while with the Cowboys.
Well, I think that's just the case, Bill. He had such great success. He said to himself, I've been here for a while. We've been very successful. Where do I go from here? Well, why don't I go with one of the masters, one of the greats, and try to learn a little more from him and try to be connected with a team that has such great history, and then maybe I can get a head coaching position in a top 10 school in the very near future. And I think it was a wise decision on his part. I think it's going to be a good career decision.
You know where he graduated from? Right down the road, about 90 miles. Arizona. Played for the Wildcats.
There's another good hitting team. Our first game of the year. In a squeaker, UCLA beat them 20-15.
Now here's Brody Van Wagenen. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. LaRocca at second. Meyer at first. And the first pitch is in there, a called strike. 1 out in the 9th. Arizona State trailed 1-0 until the bottom of the 7th, when they scored the tying run on an error by Todd LaRocca, who scored the go-ahead run on a ground ball off the bat of Antone Williamson. Here's the 1-1. Swung through a fastball that was letter high.
Regardless of the outcome of this game, I like the character of this young Stanford team. They never give up. They keep battling. They've made a couple of physical mistakes that have cost them to lose the lead. They go up there swinging.
Winslett sets. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Out number 2 here in the 9th.
This has been Winslett's out pitch today. Takes the fastball and just throws it right by the hitter. Let's see what he gets. Yes, he knows he's got him. He knows now he's got 2 outs. He's 1 batter away from his 9th victory. Conference on the mound, calming him down a little bit. Stay within yourself. Keep focused. Don't worry too much about the runners. The runners aren't going anywhere.
Now the man standing between Dax Winslett and Arizona State's 40th win of the 1993 season is a sophomore left-hander out of Jacksonville, Florida. His name is Steve Carver. And he has certainly solved the Dax Winslett puzzle today. 2 for 3, a couple of base hits, stole a base, and has scored Stanford's lone marker. Of course, that was way back in the 3rd inning. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. 2-1 Arizona State. Winslett's first pitch is outside, missed the ball.
Wind still blowing from left to right center. Good for a left-handed hitter.
Now that wind is really picked up. It is blowing from the foul pole in right to the foul pole, correction, from left to right. 1 ball, no strikes. Carver waits. Winslett delivers. Swung on, ground ball. Behind second base, Cardinal. He tries to flip to second, not in time. They've loaded him up here in the ninth. Well, that is just a beautiful piece of hitting by Steve Carver. Couldn't get any real power on it, Steve, and just hit it back up the middle.
Made contact. Cardinal maybe a little too deliberate now, tossing an underhand. He should have thrown it overhand, a quick throw, and he definitely was safe, loading the bases with 2 out. Cardinal going behind second. He's made great plays today, but see, when he throws it underhand, the ball floats to second base, and he's safe.
So now, with the bases loaded in 2 outs, here comes Jeff Desjardins. He'll bat from the right side. He's a junior from La Mesa, California. And first base, there's Steve Carver. He's the guy who hit the high bouncer up over Winslett's head, forcing Cardinal to backhand it behind second base. And that infield hit moved Rod Meyer to second and Todd LaRocca to third base. So with LaRocca at third, Meyer at second, and Carver at first. Here comes Desjardins.
This is a great ninth inning of a great college baseball game.
Up high, a ball. Sean Turner, incidentally, is pinch running at first base. Oh, Turner at first, Meyer at second, and Todd LaRocca. The tying run is at third. Winslett delivers 1-0. It's up high, 2-0. If we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, it would be Todd Cady, Todd Delmos, and Cody McKay.
Winslett knows he's got to get the ball down and over the plate now. He's got to take a little bit off. Hope that Desjardins doesn't hit it squarely, but he's got to focus. Keep the ball down.
Winslett, 2-0 pitch. It's a good one. 2 balls and a strike. Stanford a run on 8 hits, 2 errors. The Sun Devils 2 runs on just 3 hits. But the walks, they have been the difference in this score. Bases loaded with Stanford players. The 2-1 pitch. Up high, 3-1. Now, Steve, if you're Mark Marquis, what do you do to your
if you're
young hitter?
Mark Marquis now, in this situation, especially with a young team in the season, you let this man go up there, and if he gets a good pitch, let him swing at it. Let him be aggressive. Let him try to get that hit that maybe wins the game. Don't be tentative. Be aggressive.
3-1 pitch. Fouled out of play. Nobody will have a shot at this. Stanford scored their go-ahead run in the 3rd inning. It came on a single by Brian Dallimore that scored Steve Carver, who had singled and stole the base. It stayed 1-0 until the bottom of the 7th. Stanford scored a single marker then and another in the 8th. And that is where we stand. It's a 1-run ball game. Top of the 9th. Bases loaded with Stanford ball players. The count is 3-2 to Jeff Desjardins. Winslett from the set. To left field, a base hit. LaRocca scores. Meyer will come around to score. Here comes Sean Turner to the plate. And suddenly it's a 4-2 Stanford lead.
This young Cardinal team battling all the way. Desjardins on a 3-2 count with 2 outs, just slices it right over shortstop into the outfield, in the left field, scoring 3 runs. The Cardinal back on top, 4-2. Fastball right down the middle. Desjardins keeps his head down. Good compact swing. Now the ball is slightly misplayed in left field by Delmose, allowing the 3rd run of the inning. Watch these guys come out of the dugout now. They know they've come back. They know they're a young team. They've never given up.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Desjardins loves to hit here at Packard Stadium at Arizona State. Last year, he slammed his first collegiate home run at Arizona State So Desjardins is all smiles here. The bases loaded double brings Stanford back from a 2-1 deficit. They now are out in front 4-2. So while we await the next Arizona State pitcher, we'll step away. It's Stanford 4, the Sun Devils 2. From winning this ball game, Winslett got the ball up. Desjardins got the arms out and singled to left center field. 2 runs make it 3 runs scored on the single and error. And it's now Stanford 4, Arizona State 2. Coming on to pitch now for Arizona State, Noah Peary. 6-1 on the year. Boy, look at those saves. An ERA of 5.77. Unusual to see a short man who has appeared in 26 games, only started once, with a 6-1 record.
Have that number of wins plus the number of saves. It means one thing. It means that once he gets into the game, his team has a tendency to come back. So we've got an exciting inning left here at Packers Stadium.
Now Mark Marquis. You can bet things were a little tight in the Stanford dugout just about 3 minutes ago. With one swing of the bat, they come back from a 2-1 deficit to take a 4-2 lead. Here's Dallimore. Breaking ball, isn't there? A called strike. Boy, what a beauty from Noah Peary.
Phil, that's what's great about this game of baseball is that there is no time limit. You've got to get 27 outs.
Peary looks at Desjardins and delivers a ball outside. Noah Peary is a junior out of Glendale, Arizona. Played his junior college ball right up the road a piece in Glendale Community College. Pitched a couple of excellent years for Glendale. Pardon me, Steve.
Talked with Jim Brock about how he used to throw on top.
To the right side. Rounding third is Desjardins. He's going to be waved to the plate. And it won't be close. It's 5-2. So an RBI single by Dallimore, and the Cardinal has punched across 4 runs here in the 9th. Boy, Winslett appeared to be just cruising. Opened the 9th inning on a fly ball by Dusty Allen into the glove of Jacob Cruz. An infield hit off the bat of LaRocca. Then a base hit by Rod Meyer. He struck out Brody Van Wagenen. 2 outs, 2 on, still no damage done. Then the infield single by Steve Carver. Sean Turner came in to run for him. Then on a 3-2 pitch with 2 outs, Jeff Desjardins lined a single to left center. An error by Todd Delnos allowed another run to score. They pushed 3 across on that hit and scored the 4th run a moment ago on the base hit by Dallimore.
Reminds me a lot of a guy who's pitching a no-hitter, and he's got 2 out in the 9th. Somebody gets a cheap hit, and then everything explodes from that point on.
Good point.
That's it, Noah.
1 ball, 2 strikes. A.J. Hinch. It is unusual to see Hinch go 0 for 4. Struck out twice, hit a couple of ground balls to the left side of the infield. Came in hitting .331.
We also talked with Jim Brock about Noah Peary, who started the season more of an upright pitcher throwing overhand. Not much success, and now he's dropped down. Doing a good job of relief for the Sun Devils.
For the Sun Devils, 4 runs on 5 hits. There was an error. They leave 1. We're going to the bottom of the 9th. Bottom half of the 9th. Ground ball right side. Allen gets the big hop, and Delnosi is out 3 unassisted to open up the Sun Devil half of number 9.
Bill, you see it happen where Andrew Lorraine, who had pitched a very good game going into the 8th inning, gets the first 2 batters out then a couple of walks and a hit batsman and an error, and all of a sudden he's behind in the game, but he gets a reprieve, and now you see him on the mound. He's aggressive. He wants the ball. He's focused.
Pick yourselves up. Let's see.
He knows he has victory in his hands. He can just finish off the Sun Devils.
Boy, how strange a game baseball can be sometimes. He was one pitch away from being the losing pitcher.
Toughest out is the 27.
Here's the 0-1. Boy, McKay 0 for 2, hit by a pitch in the 7th inning. At the time, it loaded the bases. Arizona State only able to score a run on the error by the second baseman, Todd LaRocca, on what should have been the 3rd out of the inning. A ground ball to Jed Hansen. He went to LaRocca at second. LaRocca just dropped the baseball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom half of number 9. Mark Marquis looking for win number 23 here in 93.
Stands are awfully quiet, Phil. They had him rocking in the bottom half of the 8th inning, and a scant 15 minutes ago, as quiet as these fans.
The left-hander deals 1-2, swung on and lined into the glove of Allen. Well, I'll tell you, we have seen some all-star play from both Dusty Allen of Stanford and Doug Newstrom, the Arizona State first baseman.
That's right. Dusty's got balls where he couldn't get out of the way in time. They line shots right at him. Newstrom diving catches both to his right and left today. Real good first baseman work.
Here's Lutens. Luton's hitting .380 coming in.
It's wondering how it got away.
Little looper behind Hansen. He'll not get to it. A 2-out single off the bat of Brian Lutens will keep the Sun Devils alive, if only for a moment. 2 outs. Lutens aboard at the top of the order, and here comes Jacob Cruz. Boy, Cruz, he is overdue. 3 for 4 in yesterday's series opener. Today, he has gotten 8. Look at that, 0 for 4. Lutens with his lead. Lorraine delivers, and it's driven to center field. Cruz with a base hit.
Now you start to get into the meat of the Sun Devil lineup, and of course we were wondering before about Noah Peary. He got all those wins. Let's take a look at this one. Nice stride, really gets his hips through, extends the bat, gets it on the end a little bit, but really stayed on track with that pitch. Cardinal, who led off the last inning with a double to get the rally going for the Sun Devils, is up again.
1 ball, no strikes. Looks like Dan Reed. Swung on, grounded to third, and gets past Altamore. Lutens will round third. He's going to score. The throw comes into third base. And whoa my, we've got a 5-3 ball game.
This is college baseball. What did Yogi say? It's not over till it's over. Hard shot down third base. Downlaw goes down. The ball stays down. It never comes up. 1 run scores. Runners on first and second. 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Stanford leading the Sun Devils of Arizona State 5-3.
Now, the winning run is at the plate in the form of Doug Newstrom. Breaking ball inside, missed it. 1 ball, no strikes. Newstrom 0 for 4 today. Now, we talked back in the 7th inning, make it the 6th inning when he came to the plate. What a job he has done defensively. 2 runners aboard. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. Altamore may have a play. I think he lost it. Now he's found it again and makes the catch. And this one's over. Arizona State in the bottom of the 9th. A run on 3 hits. There were no errors. They leave 2. What a ball game. Stanford, the total is 5 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. Arizona State, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Steve and I will return to Packard Stadium in Tempe to wrap it up for you in a moment. Today, unranked Stanford, 22-21 on the year, came up and won a big one, beating number 2 Arizona State 5-3. Stanford 5 runs on 10 hits. The Sun Devils 3 runs on 6 hits. And Dax Winslett, Steve Garvey, this is the game he will long remember. He was 1 pitch away from his 9th victory of the season.
Dax featured the high fastball all day to get the strikeouts and a good changeup and slider to finish off the Stanford Cardinal, but just couldn't get that 27th out. Let's take a look at this fastball. This is what he featured today. An 87-mile-an-hour fastball up high. Just couldn't get on top of it. The Cardinal just couldn't get a hold of it.
He had a 2-1 lead in the 9th inning when he loaded the bases. And then a fellow by the name of Jeff Desjardins came to the plate. And on a 3-2 pitch, look out.
Just laces it to left field, and the ball's misplayed in left field. What should have been 2 RBIs turns into 2 RBIs, an error, and another run. And now you see the Cardinal enthusiasm. This young team knows that it's put it together, has come back against the number 2 team in the country.
They went on to add another one in the 9th. Arizona State got one at the bottom of the 9th, and that's how it ended. The final score, 5-3. And say all you want about Winslett, but how about the job the big left-hander Lorraine did today?
The big left-hander, here's what he featured. That diving slider down and in for the strikeout. Worked hard, earned the victory, deserved the victory.
Andrew Lorraine goes to 7-4, his 7th complete game. Again, the final score, the Stanford Cardinal 5, Arizona State 3. And now for Steve Garvey, I'm Phil Stone. You saw a good one, college baseball at its best, right here on ESPN. So long, everybody.